Sairam everyone, welcome back to our history class, and we will be continuing with our lesson 2, that is Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. We have already begun with this lesson. Just we will do a short recap. We'll just recall what we studied in the last class and then we will continue with our lesson. So, recap first. So, in the last class, we studied socialists were against private ownership of property, right? Socialists wanted a society that as a whole controlled property. That means capitalist has no role to play in the society. Robert Owens, Louis Blanc believed in cooperatives. Then we saw how socialists spread across Europe. Workers, they started forming association. And who was the Tsar that time? Tsar Nicholas II. He ruled the Russian Empire in 1914. And his empire included many countries around Moscow and many parts of today's country, right? Now, let's continue with our new topic, economy and society. We are going to study about the Russian society and their financial status. Yeah, now children, agriculture was the main occupation of majority of people in Russia. Okay, that was in the beginning of 12th century. Clear? Nearly 85% of the population. Which population? Population under Russian Empire. Now when I am saying Russian Empire, I mean all those territories which were under Russia. Okay, so nearly 85% of the Russian Empire's population were earning their livings through agriculture. They earned money through agriculture. Now this proportion was higher than other European countries. For example, it was just 40% in France and 60% in Germany. So it is obvious that 85% is more. 85% of the Russian population, they were dependent on agriculture to earn. Now these farmers, these Russian farmers, they produce food grains for sale as well as for their personal consumption for themselves. Okay, Russia was major exporter of grains. Yes, Russia was major exporter of grains. Now, prominent industrial areas developed in St. Petersburg and also in Moscow. Craftsmen that undertook most of the production, but large factories existed alongside craft workshops. And in 1819s, when Russia's railway network extended, okay, many factories were set up Also, foreign investment in industries increased. When industries were set up, production was more. What was produced, production of coal increased two times more. Yes, it doubled. Production of coal doubled, whereas iron and steel production increased 4 times. Okay, 4 times. But see here on your monitor, can you see these are the pictures of St. Petersburg and Moscow, the industrial areas that developed. Okay. Yeah, as I told you, production of coal doubled and iron and steel increased 4 times. Now, in 1900s, some areas, factory workers and craftsmen were almost same in number. Okay. Now, as we know, most of the industries was privately owned, right? In Russia, industries were privately owned. Yeah, but government supervised large scale industries. Okay, this was to ensure limited hours of work and minimum wages for the workers, because workers were exploited. But rules were broken, and by whom? By factory inspector in crafts unit, okay, and also in a small workshop. The working day was 15 hours. But, 15 hours. Sometimes, not all every day, but sometimes. And that of factories were 10 to 12 hours. Okay, they were made to work for long hours. Now the workers were also had accommodation problem. These workers lived in dormitories. Okay, workers were divided into social group. They were divided on the basis of their skills. Okay, the metal workers considered themselves as autocrats. The reason for this is their occupation demanded more training and skill. Okay, so see, here is the picture of dormitory where the workers slept. Okay, no special room housing facilities were given to them. A big hall to sleep. Children, even women were employed in factories. Women made 31% of the factory worker, but they were paid less as compared to men. And this division among workers was shown in dress and manners too. Some associations were formed by workers. These associations were formed to help members in times of unemployment or any financial hardship, or you can say financial crisis. But such associations were very few. Okay, this association helped the workers in their hard times. Now, workers were divided, but they did unite. And when they unite? During strike time. During strike. Strike is to stop work. And when did they go for strike? When they disagreed with the employer about, say, any dismissal. Dismissal is removal of any employee, any worker, or say about the working condition of the workers. Okay, so this was the situation which forced the workers to go on a strike. Now, can you see this? They are the women workers who are employed in factories. Now, children, till now we studied about the workers, about their conditions, right? Now let's move on to countryside of Russia. Let's see what was the situation over there. Now, peasants cultivated land, right? But this land was owned by the nobles, kings, or the Orthodox Church people. That is the priest or clergy who were working for the church. Like workers, even these peasants, they were divided. They were deeply religious. But in few cases, they had no respect for nobles. You know, these nobles, they served the Tsar, the king, the empire, and thus got their power and position. But not through local popularity. They were not loved by the people, by the peasants. Okay. Now in Russia, these peasants, they wanted the land of the nobles to be given it to them. Okay, to be transferred it to them. They refused even to pay rent. And at times, they even murdered landlords. In 1902, this occurred on a large scale in South Russia. And it spread all over Russia in 1905. Such incidents took place all over Russia. Here is the picture on your monitor of the peasant working on the land. Here I was talking in 1902. The peasants murdered the landlords. It was in a large scale taking place in South Africa. But in 1905, such incidents took place all over Russia. Now, Russian peasants, they pooled their land together. They cultivated their land together. Okay. And their commune, that is mir, divided it according to the needs of individual. Okay. Children, we saw how socialism came in Europe. Now let's see socialism in Russia. Now all political parties before 1914 in Russia were said to be illegal. They were not called as official party. They were said as illegal parties. In 1898, the Russian Social Democratic Party was founded by socialists
And this party respected Marx's ideas. Okay, but then too, it has to be operated as an illegal organization. Look at this. Okay, it set up this party, this Russian Social Democratic Party. It set up a newspaper, also mobilized workers and organized strikes too. Okay, now children, what happened is some Russian societies felt that the Russian peasants, okay, custom of dividing land periodically made them natural socialist. Okay, so peasants would be the main force of revolution and not workers, and this will help Russia to become a socialist country more quickly. In the late 19th century, okay, socialists were active in the countryside. In 1900, the Socialist Revolutionary Party was formed by them in countryside. Remember this. This party fought for peasants, for their rights, and they demanded that land which was owned by the nobles be transferred or given to peasants. Okay, this was the demand of the Socialist Revolutionary Party in countryside. But social democrats disagreed with social revolutionaries about the decision of peasants. Did you see the difference between these two socialist parties? So Lenin felt this difference showed that peasants were not united. Some were poor, some were rich, some worked as laborers, while some were capitalists who were also employers. Given these differentiations within them, they could not be part of socialist movement. Now, who is this Lenin? Let's talk about Lenin. Vladimir Lenin. He was born in the year 1870 and died in the year 1924. He was a Russian revolutionary. He was a politician. He was a political theorist. He served as the head of government of Soviet Russia. That was from 1917 to 1924. Okay, children? Now, the party was divided, and this division was based on strategy that was used. And party was divided into Bolsheviks and Mensheviks. Okay? Now, Bolsheviks, who are these Bolsheviks? Bolsheviks actually are also known as in English the Bolshevists. Okay? This Bolsheviks was led by Lenin and Alexander. That split from the Menshevik faction of the Marxist Russian Socialist Democratic Labour Party. Now, what is faction? Faction means a group of individuals within a large entity such as political party or a trade union, or united by a particular common factor. Bolshevik means majority in Russia. Okay. Now, a Bolshevik was a member of the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party. Yeah, as I told you, which was a Marxist political party. Okay, they were led by Lenin. This all is clear. But why they were popular, because they made lot of promises such as they would give land and power to the peasants, and they also promised that they would improve working conditions and lifestyle of the workers who worked in industry. Through this promises they gained popularity. Okay, but they ruled Russia completely after Russian Revolution. Okay, now Lenin thought that in a repressive society like the Tsarist Russia, the party should be disciplined, okay, and control the number and also the quality of its member. It means that only selective people should be allowed to be the member of this party. Okay, and the Mensheviks were one dominant faction. Okay, in the Russian socialist movement. Other than this, Bolsheviks. We know the party was divided into Mensheviks and Bolsheviks. So, Mensheviks is the another faction. This faction emerged in 1903. There was dispute between Julius Martovo and Lenin. Okay, now Martovo's supporter, I'll tell you about Mensheviks a little bit. Martovo's supporters, who were in the minority in a crucial vote on the question of party membership, came to be called as Mensheviks. Okay, now this Mensheviks, now their thinking was different. They thought that the party should be open to all. That is, anyone can be the member of the party. As in Germany, no restrictions will be there on the basis of rich or poor, landowner, owner or worker. So they believe that the party is open to all. Anyone can be the member of the party.
We will stop over here now, children. We will continue with our lesson in the next class. Until then, bye and take care. Thank you.